I am Theagenes of Thasos, born around 480 BCE, renowned throughout Greece for my strength and skill in combat. My name has become legend not just for victories in the arena but for my endurance, discipline, and the divine gifts I carried as an athlete. From a young age, I showed signs of strength beyond ordinary men, and it was clear to all in Thasos that my life would not be ordinary. My city, my gods, and my heritage inspired me to become one of the greatest athletes of ancient Greece. A man who achieved immortal fame through the Olympics and beyond, with more than 1,400 victories in the ancient games. My story begins on the island of Thasos, where I was born and raised. From a young age, it was clear that the gods had blessed me with strength and a body built for greatness. Legend says that one day, as a boy, I lifted a bronze statue of a god outside a temple and carried it home, leaving my father and the townspeople in awe. This feat seemed almost impossible for one so young, and the people of Thasos saw it as a sign from the gods. Though I was strong, I was also determined. I trained daily, focusing not only on building my strength but on mastering the skill and endurance needed to compete in a wide range of events. I aspired to compete in the most prestigious competitions of Greece and to become a name that would echo through the ages. The Olympic Games were, of course, the ultimate dream for any athlete. There, one could earn the highest honor, and one's victory would be dedicated to the gods. I set my sights on winning at Olympia, not just once, but as many times as the gods would permit. I began training relentlessly, refining my skill in the pancration, a brutal combination of boxing and wrestling, a test of both physical power and strategic mind. In pancration, victory did not come easily. There were no rounds or points. It was a relentless struggle where the fight continued until one man surrendered or was incapacitated. I trained with some of the greatest teachers of my time, dedicating my body and spirit to the art of pancration. I learned to predict my opponent's moves, to use my strength to withstand even the most severe strikes, and to counterattack with precision and power. My journey as an athlete, however, would not be confined to pancration. I was determined to excel in other events as well, particularly boxing and running. I competed in numerous regional games, traveling from city to city and building a name for myself. The Theagenes took pride in my victories and celebrated each triumph as if it were their own. My victories became a symbol of our island's strength and resilience. My first Olympic Games were a culmination of years of preparation. I arrived in Olympia with a heart full of hope and a mind focused on victory. I competed in both boxing and pancration, two of the most grueling events. In boxing, the matches were long and brutal. The fists were bound with leather straps, but no other protection was provided. Many athletes fell, unable to continue, but I pushed forward with all the strength the gods had given me. Each strike was a prayer, each defense a tribute to the gods who watched over me. When the pancration match began, I knew I was facing some of the toughest athletes in Greece. Yet, through grit and determination, I triumphed, forcing my opponent to yield. When the judge finally raised my hand in victory, a surge of pride filled me. I had proven my worth on the most sacred ground of ancient Greece. From that moment, I became a victor, an Olympic champion, a title that carried the weight of honor and the expectation to inspire others. My victories at the Olympics were only the beginning. In the years that followed, I continued to compete across Greece. I entered every competition I could, both local and Pan-Hellenic, accumulating victories in the Isthmian, Nemean, and Pythian games as well. Each of these games was dedicated to different gods, and each offered me a chance to honor them through my achievements. Over the years, I became known not just for my victories, but for my ability to win in multiple events and sports. Whether it was boxing, wrestling, or the pancration, I excelled. In total, I won over 1,400 titles, an unheard-of accomplishment, even among the greatest athletes of my time. My record became legendary, and my name was spoken in cities and villages all over Greece. I was not just an athlete. I was a symbol of what the human body could achieve with dedication, discipline, and the favor of the gods. My fame spread beyond Thasos, and in each city where I competed, I was welcomed with cheers and admiration. Statues were erected in my honor, and poets wrote of my victories. My legacy was growing, and with each victory, I felt a greater connection to the gods who guided my path. Despite my victories, my life was not without challenges. The path to glory often stirred envy and resentment, and in some places, there were those who tried to discredit my achievements. I faced opponents who would use foul tactics in the ring, who sought to defeat me not through skill but through dishonor. But I remained steadfast, focused on maintaining the virtues of an honorable athlete, relying on my training and the gods' support to carry me through. It was said that I was a descendant of Heracles himself, a claim that both honored and burdened me. I felt a duty to live up to such a lineage, to prove that the strength and courage of Heracles flowed through my veins. Many considered my accomplishments as proof of divine favor, a connection that I held close in my heart. In Thasos, I was seen as a local hero, and some even saw me as a demigod, one whose physical prowess was a blessing from the heavens. After many years, as age and countless competitions began to take their toll, I knew it was time to step away from the arena. My body, though strong, bore the marks of every victory and every battle I had fought. The aches and scars reminded me of a life fully lived, dedicated to the pursuit of greatness. I returned to Thasos, where I could finally rest, surrounded by the people who had supported me from the beginning. Yet even in my retirement, my legend lived on. In Thasos, they erected a bronze statue in my likeness, a tribute to my achievements and the glory I had brought to our island. This statue became a symbol of my legacy, and it stood as a reminder to all who saw it of the strength and dedication that had marked my life. After my death, the statue erected in my honor became the center of a strange tale. One of my enemies, driven by resentment, attempted to deface it. However, the statue toppled over and killed him, an incident many took as a sign of divine retribution. Later, the people of Thasos faced a great famine and sought guidance from the Oracle of Delphi, who instructed them to atone for the sacrilege against my statue. The Theagenes treated the statue as if it were a living being, offering it rituals and sacrifices. It was a strange irony that even in death, I was seen as a guardian of my homeland. My presence still felt through the statue that bore my likeness. My legacy had transcended mortal life, and I was remembered not just as a champion but as a protector of Thasos, a man whose spirit and strength could not be forgotten. In my lifetime, I achieved feats that many thought impossible. My victories numbered in the thousands, and I earned the respect of all Greece through my dedication to the gods and to my craft. I carried the pride of Thasos in every competition, striving not just for personal glory but for the honor of my homeland. I became known as one of the greatest athletes in history, a man whose strength and skill were unmatched. As Theagenes of Thasos, I leave behind a legacy of resilience, strength, and a love for the pursuit of excellence. My life was dedicated to pushing the boundaries of what it meant to be human, and in doing so, I found a place not just in history but in the hearts of those who would come after me.